Hello class, and welcome to CIS189 for spring 2020. In this course we've got two sections that will be sharing a single Blackboard shell. WB2 CRN25544 is the web blended section that meets on Thursdays from 9:40 to 11:05 in Building 8, Room 17 on the Ankeny campus. WW1 26482 is the online-only section that doesn't actually have a meeting location. I just want you, both classes, to be aware that there are students in this shell that you necessarily won't see in class, and that you may end up communicating with each other throughout the semester on things like questions that you ask each other for assistance and things of that nature. It's just something to be aware of. I want to start with a couple of things that we need to just get out of the way before we get down into learning about Python. First thing, the syllabus, of course. A couple of highlights from the syllabus. I'll show you where you can access the syllabus in Blackboard here shortly. But the things that are important there, first of all, of course, contacting me. I do like when my students interact with me, so I do appreciate anybody that reaches out to me with issues or questions or even corrections and things they find within Blackboard that need some adjustments. So I do hope that you make an effort to communicate with me this semester. I include my personal cell phone number as well as my DMACC email address. What I do ask is that when you communicate with me, if you need to do a phone call with me, that we first schedule that phone call via an email, so that I have the expectation that someone's going to contact me at a specific time. Otherwise, I have a tendency to ignore phone calls because I don't like solicitors and things like that. So make sure we first communicate via email. And I also have text as an option if you would like to text me. Again, I just ask that you don't try to text me in the middle of the night because I sleep during normal Central Time hours, and I'm surely not going to respond. I do strive to make sure that any communications to me are responded to within 24 hours on a weekday and within 48 hours on a weekend or a holiday. I'm usually much faster than that. I keep pretty close to my devices, to my own detriment sometimes, but just be aware if you're communicating with me, I may not immediately be getting back to you. I may be doing something else, or I may not have immediately seen the communication. So just be aware of that. So all that information is in the syllabus. Continuing on, expectations. I do expect that you participate early each week, and that's really for your own benefit. This is a pretty intensive course, and the first couple of weeks you may be able to get away with hitting things later in the week. But all of a sudden, you're going to find that that's not going to work anymore. And what I've seen in the past is people have a tendency to then fall behind because they aren't putting in the time that's necessary before the items are due. And then they get into this constant issue where they're always late on stuff, and it really hurts them in the end. So to your benefit, please participate early. And I do expect that work is turned in on time. And as such, I do assess a 50% grade penalty on items that are turned in late. I do accept them for that 50% penalty up to 7 days after the due date, and I will not accept any work 1 week past the due date. You will know when things are no longer being accepted because that module will disappear from Blackboard, and then actually I will make it reappear later without the assignments available anymore. Continuing on, non-attendance. DMACC requires that I report students that do not attend the class for financial purposes. So the requirements to ensure that you don't get put down as a non-attending student is to complete, at a bare minimum, by January 20th, those two items there. You need to log into Blackboard and you need to do your introduce yourself discussion board. Now, there are more things that need to be done in the first module, but those are the two things that have to be done to not be dropped as non-attending. Later in the semester, DMACC also requires that I report quit attending. Quit attending is students that quit attending the course. Any student that is at an overall score in the course of 40% or less, Taking into account the first 7 weeks of materials will be dropped from the course for quit attending. Also, any students who have not submitted homework for 2 consecutive weeks or not been in Blackboard for 10 consecutive days without having some kind of a notification to me will be dropped for quit attending. I don't do quit attending as a penalty. It is to the student's benefit in some such cases for financial aid that they get dropped for quit attending as opposed to taking an F. But just avoid it altogether. Just make sure that you don't get that low of a score on the course. And we won't have to worry about it. And I do expect all students to review and understand the class syllabus. And you can see a planned schedule at the very end of the syllabus. The last page is a table that just lists all of the modules we'll be going through this semester, as well as the dates that they're due. Just a quick blurb here on how to be successful. I've already tread this ground a little bit, put in the effort early in the week. Those students that put in the effort early in the week have an opportunity to run into those problems early in the week and get assistance before having to turn in the assignment. Again, with that 24-hour response time, if you ask me the day or the night an assignment is due, there's a good chance I'm not going to be able to get back to you with a reasonable response before the assignment is due. And then you fall into that late assignment submission bucket. So hitting that stuff early, getting it done early is just going to benefit you all around. As I said earlier, don't fall behind. Once you fall behind, it's very difficult to get yourself caught back up again because the material builds on itself throughout the semester. And I really want you to ask questions of me or your fellow students. Each module has a Q&A discussion board at the end of the page. I'll show you here in Blackboard in the next video. That you can go into and you can just post a question to your fellow students. You can also subscribe to those discussion boards and you can answer questions for your fellow students. Both of those benefit the class overall. And it is also a place that I monitor to answer questions that students are having. That's the end of this video. The next video, I will give a rundown of the Blackboard shell.